questions from the members. The chair now recognizes the gentleman from Virginia, Mr. Garrett, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I am incredibly frustrated, and I have a finite amount of time. And Mr. Will Houston, I presume I'm close to pronouncing that correctly. You're going to miss the brunt of this because you're from GAO. You attended the Naval Academy. You understand the concept that a leader is responsible for all a unit accomplishes or fails to accomplish, right? They taught that in the Army leadership. I'm sure the Navy's no different. And Ms. Bailey, you said our enemies will not rest and neither will we. But as I look at this list of GAO findings, there were at least 395 nights that we went to bed and rested before we accomplished items on this list. So you have people on this committee, Ms. Demings, who has a career in law enforcement, so too Mr. Higgins, Chairman McCall, who was a federal prosecutor, Mr. Perry, who was in the military. We have an FBI agent. I was in the military and was a prosecutor, and I can guarantee you that there were a lot of nights that we had stuff that we were mandated to do that we didn't go to bed, that we literally didn't rest because we were mandated to do it. So I look at Public Law 113-277, and I look at these bullets: establish procedures identifying and categorizing cybersecurity positions within 90 days, March of 2015, 13 months behind. Identify all positions with cyber functions and determine specialty areas within 9 months. Still incomplete. Assign 2-digit codes to all cybersecurity positions based on priority work category within 9 months. Incomplete. Identify cybersecurity, and this is from September 2015. Identify cybersecurity work rules to the critical needs of Congress, June 2016. Not yet identified. There's one more. Report critical needs to OPM annually, assigned September 2016. Not yet addressed. Now, I got a series of questions for each of you, and again, you escaped this, and again, thank you for your service, right? I know what you do isn't easy, but if our enemies aren't resting, and they're not, I just was fortunate enough to meet with the foreign ministers from the Baltic states, right, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, who understand something about cyber attacks. I've spoken with people from the Ukraine who understand something about cyber attacks. I understand that there are a lot of people who are concerned with things like EMP. The reality is, as you all know, a cascading cyber threat could kill 50% of the population in this country in 12 months. And I'm not making this stuff up. So these are the laws passed by Congress under the Constitution of the United States, and here are my questions, and I'm going to give them to you in a litany and then give each of you time. What is your level of accountability? What is your fear if you miss a date established by law? What's the worst thing you think can happen? When was the last time someone was fired for not accomplishing a task mandated by law? I'm dead serious. I want to know who and what did they fail to do? Has anyone who was previously responsible for a legally mandated task subsequently been promoted after having failed to accomplish that task in a timely manner? I'm dead serious. Because in the world from which I come, as a prosecutor, as an elected official, and as a soldier, you get an assignment with a drop-dead date, and you do the assignment. You guys are great. I apologize that my enmity is attacking you, but we serve the American people, and these threats are not anything to worry about until they happen. So has anyone who was responsible for one of these tasks that hasn't been accomplished subsequently been promoted, who failed to accomplish the task, and what were they promoted to, and why? So again, what's your level of accountability? What's your greatest fear that could happen possibly if you don't do something Congress directs you by law to do? Have we promoted anyone who failed to accomplish these tasks? And what do we intend to do to be more responsive in the future? I hate to think that it's like being the parent to a 17-year-old who goes, yes, sir, I'll do it, then never does it and giggles behind your back. Because Congress is supposed to matter. And I think in our hearts we want the same thing. So I'm sorry, about 45 seconds for each of you. And then thank you for your indulgence. And again, it's not a personal attack, but I mean, you get it. You all know this is wrong. 13, 16, 18 months out?
I was scrambling to write down your question, sir. So
okay, well, here's my biggest one. Has anyone failed to accomplish a legally mandated task by virtue of Public Law 113-277 been subsequently promoted?
No, sir.
Has anyone ever been fired for failure to make a timeline mandated by law by Congress?
No.
And so what's the greatest fear of an individual who's tasked with these particular responsibilities should they fail to accomplish that task? What's their fear? I won't get promoted. In the Army, it was, I want a good evaluation so that I can get promoted ahead of my peers. What's the fear of someone who goes home one night thinking, well, I'm not going to finish this today, knowing that it's past the deadline?
I think if I could answer it this way, I don't know that it's fear. I think it's actually just disappointment that they don't have the ability to perhaps get everything done in a given day that they try to get it done. And so they've got a lot of competing priorities sitting on their plate, and this is by far one of their most important, but they have to do that in context of everything else that they're trying to do at the same time. So the very same workforce that's trying to do the coding, and which, by the way, we have, as of today, over 6,000 positions are coded in the 3-digit. I realize that that's not the substantial progress that you're looking for, but
And I want progress. Pardon, I'm not trying to be mean to you, and I know I'm over. I want completion by the assigned date, or you coming to us going, here's why we're not going to finish in time.
understand, sir.
And again, I'm not trying to beat
It's
you guys
fine.
up.
And we have a timeline.
I know it's
to
not
do
easy.
so.
Okay, again, I thank you, the chair, for his indulgence, but please take the sense of urgency. This is a bipartisan thing where we're protecting the same people. We need to be better about holding you to account, and you need to be better about looking at this time and going, darn, this is hard, we're going to get it done. Because that's what we do in law enforcement, that's what we do in the military, that's what our teachers do when they're first-year teachers lesson planning. It's what we owe the citizens we serve. Thank you.